Hello, I'm Novelette and welcome to Morgen Talk. NHD, Natural Hazard Disclosure, is one of the required disclosures in the home purchasing process. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with industry veteran Mindy Regan with MyNHD to tell us more. Hi, Mindy. How are you?
I'm doing great, Novelette. How are you today?
Oh, well, thank you. It's such a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you.
All right, Mindy. What is natural hazard disclosure?
Natural hazard disclosure industry started 26 years ago, and it is mandatory on all transactions in the state of California. Nothing is exempt. So every property requires this, and it's really for the buyer's protection. It's so that it's no longer buyer beware. It's to make sure they know, are you in a flood zone, a fire zone, liquefaction, landslide, earthquake areas, things that could affect the property, which is called material fact. It's the material fact that affects the desirability and the value of the house. And that's why this became mandatory in 1996.
That's very good information. Thank you for sharing that. Who pays for this?
Well, typically the seller pays because it is the requirement of the seller to provide this NHD report, natural hazard disclosures, within 7 days of an accepted offer. That's because the buyer has 3 days from the day they received this particular report to either move forward on the transaction or to pull out of it because of the material fact. So in 1994, when this industry was created, Civil Code 1103.7 was created, making it the fiduciary duty of the listing agent representing the seller to provide this report to the buyer.
Ah, that's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So then, as a buyer, what are they looking for in this report? You have all the information. What are the red flags?
Well, California Association of Realtors created a signature page, and that page has on it, are you in a flood zone if a dam breaks? Are you in a very high fire zone? Fire zone if you're in a wildlife area, more rural. Are you an earthquake area? Are you in a liquefaction landslide zone? So there are 6 items that are mandatory by law to disclose to the buyer. And that's why it's so important to choose your NHD provider based on their experience. All of these reports are created by maps. So the state of California, the county that you live in, let's say LA, and then whatever the city is that the property is located in. So let's pretend the city's in the South Bay, whether it's Redondo, Hermosa, Manhattan. These local areas have more money than the county and the state, and that's why those maps are updated much more often. And so they will always supersede, the local will always supersede state and county because they're more up to date.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. So considering what's happening now in the environment with all the wildfires, natural hazard disclosure reports are updated accordingly too, yes?
Yeah, but keep this in mind. I just heard this week that the state of California is updating all of the fires that have been going on. Guess how long ago they did this? 10 years ago.
Oh
so people think that, the Paradise Fire from last year might be in a new updated map. Certainly not fires going on now that they're still, putting out. So this is why the TDS, transfer disclosure statement, and whatever that property has been through that the seller knows about needs to be disclosed, because very often that local map even hasn't been updated for quite a bit of time. And if there's been a lot of activity like fires, where are you going to get the local information? So we provide it from every map that's updated, and every day we check to see are there updates in the 58 states. 58 counties in the state.
Okay, no problem. So what happens then if you purchase a property and it hasn't been updated yet?
Well, the insurance companies know if you're in a very high fire zone. And so this is why it is really imperative when you get your listing, you don't have to wait for escrow to open. You can get your NHD report now, no money up front. And that way, when people want to see, are they in a high fire zone before they even make an offer, you could let them know that information by having the NHD accessible. not to the looky-loos, the ones who want to make an offer. And that way, if they do see they're in a flood zone or a fire zone and they're going to need insurance, this is where it's important for the homeowner to find out, how much is it today for fire insurance on that property? It's real important to know, because some properties have fallen out of escrow to super expensive prices, like over $100,000 a year in Malibu to insure a property. You know, so you want to make sure you know what you're walking into to live in those gorgeous environments.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. It's eye-opening.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share before we head out?
Well, it's just really important when you're choosing your NHD provider to make sure they have insurance. It's the only report in real estate that is mandatory with a civil code and not regulated. It's not like title, escrow, or home warranty, where those are all regulated services. So MyNHD has been in business for 26 years. We've been in partnership with CAI and your zip forms were that very first drop-down box. It's not an accident. It's because we've been endorsed and approved by them. No issues on our reports for 26 years is huge. And we protect everybody in the transaction. $10 million of E&O insurance protects the buyer, seller, the listing agent, the buyer's agent, the transaction coordinator if you use one, and escrow officers. So they love us because we protect all of you. And it's so important to do risk management today. Make sure you keep yourself safe and protected by choosing who's going to support you and be on your team. And I'm here to do that and be of service. So I hope that helps.
Thank you, Mindy. I really appreciate you taking the time sharing all this great information with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I've known you for so long, and I'm so proud of where you are today, you know.
Thank you. All right.